Shalom, shalom. This Harut. I got one of my books the other day. The name of it's called Barnes General History, Ancient, Medieval, and Modern Peoples. It was published in 1881, and it's a small part that I wanted to read, but I got to read the whole chapter because you won't really get the meaning where I'm trying to show y'all. So it's called, the part that I'm gonna read to y'all is called Rise of the Frankish Empire. But a lot of our people don't know that the Franks are the Saxons. They're the same people. They just changed their name. Well, or a group of them broke off and started calling itself Franks. So I'll read it in Wikipedia. Okay. The Franks were a group of Germanic peoples whose name was first mentioned in the 3rd century. The peoples east of Rhine, Franks, Saxons, and even Wends, who were Almanii Anglo-Saxons. So pretty much, the Franks are the Saxons. They're like a group that broke off, and now they call themselves Franks, but they were called Frank-Saxons at first. All right, now I need to get to this other part. Now I'm just pulling up what I need to read to y'all next. I'm not reading it yet, but I just want y'all to be ready when I want to have it ready when I'm reading to y'all. All right, so I'm gonna start with the rise of the Frankish Empire. Here we go. The Franks, a German race, laid the foundation of France and Germany, and during early 4th century, their history is that of both these countries. The conversion to Christianity of their chieftain Clovis was the turning point in their career. In the midst of a great battle, he invoked the god of Clotilda, his wife, and vowed, if victorious, to embrace her faith. The tide of disaster turned, and the grateful king, with 3,000 of his bravest warriors, was soon after baptized at Reims, and that's 496. The whole power of the church was now enlisted in his cause, and he rapidly pushed his triumphal arms to the Pyrenees. He fixed his capital at Paris and established the Merovingian, or First Frankish dynasty. The brief history in France. That's page 13. The descendants of Clovis were at first wicked, then weak, until finally all power fell into the hands of the prime minister or mayor of the palace. We have already heard, turn the page. We have already heard of one of these mayors, Charles Martel, at Tours. His son, Pepin the Short, after his accession to office, was determined to be the king in name as well as in authority. He deposed Childeric, the last of the do-nothing monarchs, and Pope Stephen III, confirmed by the apostolical authority, both the disposition and the Carvinian claim to the throne. This done, Pippin was left on a shield and made king. Thus, the Carvinian or Second Frankish dynasty was established in 752. So I'm actually going through the history from when they rose, and I'm going to show y'all something. At the request of the Pope, then hard pressed by the Lombards, Pippin crossed the Alps and conquered the province of Ravenna, which he gave to the Holy See. That's Seec. The donation was the origin of the temporal power of the Pope, which lasted 1115 years. With Charlemagne, Charles the Great, Pippin's son, began a new era in the history of Europe. His plans was to unite the fragments of the old Roman Empire. To effect these, he used two powerful sentiments: patriotism and religion. So, if the Franks are the Saxons, right? How was these people running around talking about they were the Romans if they are trying to unite with the old Roman Empire? You hear it, right? So just let you know, they go and steals people's their heritage and whatever else they have, their land, their heritage, and their religion. Thus, while he cherished the institution which the Teutons loved, he protected the church and carried the cross at the head of his army. He undertook 53 expeditions against 12 different nations: Gauls, Saxons, Danes, and Saracens. I'm going to just put it to you like this. Remember, the Franks are an extension of the Saxons. So it's like another African tribe fighting another African tribe. So remember what I just read to y'all. The Franks came out of the Saxons. So they just went and attacked their own people, which that's what they do anyway now. All felt the the prowess of his arms. Entering Italy, he defeated the Lombards and placed upon his own head their famous Iron Crown. After 33 years of bloody war, his scepter was acknowledged from the German Ocean of the, what is that? Deret, and from the Channel to the lower Danube. I want to point something else out to y'all too. He put a iron crown upon his head. Remember? Let me find it. Right. So he defeated the Lombards and placed upon his own head their famous Iron Crown. I want to make sure y'all understand, use that word iron, because that's in what they call the New Testament, the New Tune, because they deal with all iron. Like it tell you that their or Jesus is going to rule with a rod of iron. So just keep that word in mind, because I'm gonna bring that out too. All right. Where was I at? Okay. His renown reached the Far East, and Haran and Al Raschid, sought his friendship, sending him an elephant, an animal never before seen by the Franks, and a cloak, which struck the hours. I said cloak, a clock. I don't know what. I'll be tripping sometimes. Okay, they never had a clock. Wow. Charlemagne crowned emperor on Christmas Day 800, as Charlemagne was bending in prayer before the high altar of St. Peter's at Rome. Pope Leo unexpectedly placed on his head the crown of the Caesars. The Western Empire was thus restored. He did it. What did he say? Unexpectedly, or he said by mistake? Let me see. Oh yeah, he said unexpectedly. Okay. The old empire was finally divided. There were two empires, one at Rome and one at Constantinople. I can never say that word. And from this time, the Roman emperors were kings of the Franks. They lived very little at Rome. However, he spoke German, Latin being the language only of religion and government. Spanish, the Spaniards. You see, all this is entwined. And that's another thing. All this got something to do with that 1200 years too of Daniel too. 'Cause this is, I'm gonna show y'all the timeline with how I'm gonna show y'all. I'm gonna just read it and then I'll explain it. Government Charlemagne sought to organize by law the various peoples he had conquered by the sword. His vast empire was divided into districts governed by counts. Royal delegates visited each district 4 times a year to redress grievances and administer justice. Diets took the pious, no, that's not pious, the pace, that word is, some of these words look weird because it's an old book, of the old German armed assemblies, and a series of capitulary, I can't say the word, was issued containing the laws and the advice of the empire. But the work of Charlemagne's life published with him. Sorry, y'all. The words don't look like regular words, so I'm thinking one word, it looks like one letter looks one way and it's not. This is actually the work of Charlemagne's, but the work of Charlemagne's life perished with him. Sorry, y'all. A division of the Frankish Empire. His feeble son, Louis, quickly dispersed his vast inheritance among his children. They quarreled over their respective shares and, after Louis's death, fought out their despite on the field of Fontaine. This dreadful battle of the brothers was followed by the Treaty of Verdun in 843, which divided the empire among them. Beginnings of France and Germany. Lothier's kingdom was called after him Lotharingia, and a part of it is still known as Lorraine. Louis's kingdom was termed East Franklin, but the word is Dutch. Deutsch, I said Dutch. Deutsch, German, soon came into sea, and Germany in 1843 celebrated its 1000th anniversary, dating from the Treaty of Verdun. Charles' kingdom was styled West Franklin, La Francia once. The word France. Its monarch still clung to its Teutonic dress and manners, but the separation from Germany was fairly accomplished. The two countries spoke different languages, and Charles the Bald was ranked as the first king of France. Thus, during the 9th century, the map of Europe began to take on something of its present appearance, and for the first time, we may venture to see the geographical divisions now familiar to us, though they were still far from having their present meanings. So they got a little side note here with this picture of Charlemagne. I'm going to read for y'all. Charlemagne and his court. In person, dress, speech, and tone of mind, Charlemagne was the true German, large, erect, muscular, and with a clear eye, and dignified but gracious manner. His shrill voice and short neck were forgotten in the general grandeur of his presence. Keen to detect, apt to understand, profound to grasp, and quick to decide, he impressed all who knew him with a sense of his power. Like his rude ancestors of centuries before, he was hardly in his habits and unconcerned about his dress. But unlike them, he was strictly temperate in food and drink. All right, let me keep going. Rise of the modern nations. We now enter upon the early political history of the principal European nations, and shall see how, amid the darkness of the Middle Ages, the foundations of the modern states were slowly laid. The four conquests of England. Roman conquest about a century after Caesar's invasion at Agricola reduced Britain to a Roman province. Walls were built to keep back the Highland Celts. Paved roads were constructed, fortified towns sprung up, and Britons became Christians. Celts are also Franks. So you got, I think it's the Celts, the Saxons, and the Franks, and it's another one. But the Franks and the Celts, and the Saxons used to fight Rome all the time. They show that in their movies. I'm getting to the place where I wanted y'all to, what I was trying to get to. Yeah. So I tell you, the Britons became Christians, and the young natives learned to talk Latin, wore a toga, and frequent the bath. Anglo-Saxons conquest. While Alaric was thundering at the gates of Rome, the veteran legions were recalled to Italy. Did you hear that? See that? The Saxons were attacking the Romans. So how are they? White. Yeah, right. The wild Celts of the north now swarmed over the deserts, walls, and ravaged the country. See what I'm saying? Same people. The Britons, in their extremity, appalled the Horsa and Hangis to German. That's appealed, sorry, y'all. It's extremity. Appealed to Horsa and Hengist, two German adventurers. Then cruising off their coast, they drove back the Celts, rewarding themselves by seizing the land they had delivered. Fresh bands of Teutons, chiefly Anglos, Angels, English, and Saxons. Yeah, right. So let's do that again. I'm gonna run that back again. Okay, let me get right where it says. Well, I'll just put it this. Then cruising off their coast, they drove back the Celts, rewarding themselves by seizing the land they had delivered. Fresh bands of Teutons, chiefly it says angels, but it's probably angles, and then it has in semicolons English and Saxons followed, driving the remaining Britons into Wales. The petty pagan kingdoms which the Germans established, known as Saxon Hippocracy, I can't say certain words, were continually at war, but Christianity was reintroduced by St. Augustine, and they were finally united in one nation, 827, by King Egbert, a contemporary and friend of Charlemagne. So I'm going to read this little note they got in the middle. And actually, this note is really going to get to what I was trying to tell y'all. Danish conquest. During the 9th century, England, like France and Germany, was ravaged by hordes of northern pirates. In their light boats, they ascended the rivers and landing seized horses and scoured the country to plunder and slay. Mercy seemed to them a crime, and they destroyed all they could not remove. So everything they couldn't take, they killed. The Danish invaders were finally beaten back by Egbert's grandson Alfred the Great in 871 to 901. And order was restored, so that, according to the old chronicles, the bracelet of gold could be left hanging by the roadside without anyone daring to touch it. A century later, the Northmen came in greater numbers, bent on conquering the country, and the Danish king, Canute, won the English crown in 1017. Norman conquest. The English soon tired of the reckless rule of Canute's son, and called to the throne Edward the Confessor in 1042. He belonged to the old, just read that last word, to the old Saxon line. So I'm going to read that part again. Norman conquest of the English soon tired of the old reckless rule of Canute's son, and called to the throne Edward the Confessor, who belonged to the old Saxon line. So this person was a Saxon. Now, remember, they put on the crown in 1017, right? I'm about to bring something to y'all. I want y'all to remember that number 1017. This is crazy. I'm telling y'all, like, I know when it popped in my head, I was like, what? All right. All right. So I'm going to just start in the middle of it. It says, these had not worshipped the beast and his image. Matter of fact, I'll just do the whole thing to the part where I want to get to it. Then I saw the throne, and seated on them were those who had been given authority to judge. I also saw the souls of those who had been beheaded. Now, I want y'all to understand this. We're going to have one king, right? One king, one prince. That's what the Most High said, right? Listen to this. Then I saw thrones, so that's more, and seated on them were those. That means that's more than one. So think about that. Who had been given authority to judge. Now, I want y'all to understand what's going on here. I also saw the souls of them who have been beheaded because of the testimony about Jesus and because of the word of God. These had not worshipped the beast or his image, and had confessed to receive his mark. And had refused. What did I get confessed from? And had refused to receive his mark on their foreheads or hand. They came to life and reigned with Christ for 1,000 years, right? Now, they took the crown of Europe in 1017. Now count 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 2017 is 1,000 years. When did all these earthquakes and stuff started happening? 2017. Go back to your news feeds. Find out when all these fires and stuff started. 2017. That's your 1,000 years right there. And all you got to do is really pay attention. Who's been ruling this earth? Kings on thrones. Then I saw thrones. That's these nations. And seated on them were those who had been given authority to judge. The kings on the throne. This is what the Most High was talking about in Isaiah. He said he's going to take them off their thrones. This New Testament is they're actually telling you what they're doing to us. And a lot of our people are using it, thinking it's for us, and it's telling us what's going to happen to us. That's what this is. So if you count from 1017 to 2017, that's the exact same time when all these storms, all this stuff really starting. Just pay attention to it. I mean, it's not hard. We just make stuff hard. All we gotta do is pray and ask, and the Most High, He will give it to us, but we don't want to. I repented and I put on my sackcloth and everything, and I did what I had to do to get the knowledge I wanted, and this is what I got. I mean, I got it yesterday, but I wanted to make sure I was right, and this is clear as day, y'all. This is clear as day. It's showing this book is literally showing you that these people, the people that they're saying who they are, they were the Romans, they weren't the Romans. And Trump actually tell you who they are. He tell you all day, oh, we're the Anglo-Saxons. He tell you exactly who you are, who they are. So I just read who all of these people are. The Celts, the Franks, all of them the same people. And they took control of Europe, the entire continent, Germany, all of that, in 1017. And they had been set their church up in the early 800s. So 1017, they took control. That's when they had kings on the throne, right? Now, you count from then to now, to 2017, that's 1,000 years. And now look what's happening to them. They getting thrown off their thrones. Just think about it. Look what's happening, y'all. Come on, man. Look what's happening. You don't believe me? Listen to my video a couple times. Take it in. Then read what I just read to y'all in Revelations. In fact, I'll give you the scripture. I'm sorry. I should have gave you the scripture anyway. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I didn't do that. I'm going to tell you exactly what scripture I read. Revelations 20 and 4. Revelations 20 and 4. Think about it. One thing that's against the law. Jesus said, I will turn mother against daughter. You honor your mother and your father. And he said, I will turn son against father. You're supposed to honor your parents. Number 2, it said, take this wine. This is my blood. We are not to drink blood, not even a symbolism of blood. So why would he do that? Number 2, this is my flesh. Eat it. We are not to eat our own people or eat people, period. So that's against the law. Think about what this man is telling us to do. Think about it. All you got to do is listen to what he's telling you to do. He's telling you to break the law. This is why Paul told you the laws are done away with. If they done away with, why are we breaking our necks to keep them now? You see what I'm saying? Think about it. We're not thinking. We're just listening to these people and letting them tell us anything they want to tell us. Why would the Most High do away with his laws when he said he changed not? Why would he do that? You see what I'm saying? Come on, y'all. Use your brains. Think. All right, man. I hope y'all enjoyed it. You know what? Hold on. No. Another thing. This disease is getting serious. It's getting real serious. And I've been getting a lot of calls. I mean, from a lot of people, that I, care about and stuff. And now it's, oh, what's going on? Yo, you was lying. You was telling the truth. Yeah, now y'all want to listen. But they say that when your trouble comes, then you're going to want to listen. So, I mean, I ain't turning them away. I'm telling them, oh, you better put on sackcloth, repent, put dirt in your hair, and, put yourself down low and fast for a day, no food and water. I said, that's the only way you probably going to listen to a little bit, And they like, I ain't doing that. Well, then that's your problem, But listen, that's what's going on. I've been getting a lot of calls from everybody, Texas and all. But, y'all, I hope y'all enjoyed this. Leave me some comments. Let me know what y'all think. And if somebody, got some more information, send it to me or put a video up so I can, we can build together. All right, y'all. Shalom.